Hey guys, what's up? It's Jordan here. So, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, you'll understand that I really love doing macro photography, and so I kind of wanted to share a little tip with you guys. So I don't have like a true macro lens. I use Canon, so I don't have like their EF 100 or their, what is it? I think they have like a 35, and I think there's also a 65 or an 80. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, so I own and use the extension tube. This is the EF 25-2 extension tube. It has autofocus and it can talk to the lens. I don't ever really use autofocus in macro, just because every time I've tried to use it, unless I had it on a tripod, it really doesn't really work all that well. Anyways, the main reason for this video is because I wanted to kind of give you guys, if you're getting into macro photography, or if you're having trouble kind of like getting those like nice, really shallow depth of field shots, but still getting everything in focus, I kind of wanted to share the tips that I have learned so far. So let's get into it. All right. First and foremost, if you are like me and you are using the extension tube, I highly recommend using the kit lens. I highly recommend using the kit lens. So 18 to 55, obviously you're probably going to keep it at a 55. That's what I do. The nice thing about this is image stabilization. So for all of you that maybe don't have that lens anymore or are thinking about selling it, don't do it. I can't tell you how insanely good it is to have image stabilization on a lens. I also use the 75 to 300 as well. This gets like really shallow depth. Problem is it's a 4 to 6 aperture, basically. There's no image stabilization on it unless you purchase, I think, the 55 to 250 lens has image stabilization in it. But if you bought like the Rebel T7 kit like I did, I got this and the 18 to 55. So just kind of keep that into consideration if you're using this. The nice thing about it is there's weight to it, so you can kind of hand hold it, and you can still get some pretty decent shots with it. But just keep that in mind. The 18 to 55, literally with the image stabilization on the EF 25 extension tube, has been a blessing. I basically keep that on one camera 24/7. I will use the 75 to 300 kind of when I just want to like get a little bit more shallow depth of field. Highly recommend picking up a flash. So a very useful tool. I can't tell you how many times having this on has just made my photos overall better. Using a flash, even if it's the one on the camera, which you kind of have to mess with the settings inside of the camera, but just having a flash on really makes the image pop a lot more, especially if it's something real small. Like I took a picture, it was a moth, and it was on like a flower. I forget exactly what I was doing, but I had the flash on there, and it made the image, I would say, probably 10 times better. It does kind of suck because once you, I have a young Nuo, so once you put that on there, this right here is probably like a 4-pound system. If it's not more than that, I would actually have to probably weigh it. But I know the camera itself is around 2.5. This thing right here has got to be at least a pound, if not more. It's pretty heavy. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. I didn't think it was going to be super long. Basically I shoot generally at around like an f5.6 to like an f8, even like an f11 sometimes, depending on what I'm trying to get in focus. Sometimes shooting at a higher f-stop will really get more in focus. Like, it's been raining a lot here lately in Florida, and I've been doing a lot of macro with water drops on it, and I try to normally get water drops on macro just because they look so nice. But I can't tell you how many times I was going through and taking my f-stop from 5.6 to like an f9 or an f11, you know, something real big like that. And flash will definitely brighten up the image too, especially if you're down in a f11 or an f9. Especially because with the extension tube, you're not getting like a true macro lens, so it does compress the image. It makes it a lot darker. So yeah, recommend if you are doing macro photography or if you're just getting into it, if you're buying an extension tube. Not that I don't love Canon and I don't love their stuff, but honestly, I made a video which I will post up here somewhere about the EF25 extension tube. It's great, but I don't think it's worth the $210 that Canon sells it for. There are companies that make this exact same thing without the autofocus built into it. If you don't need autofocus, highly recommend not using it just because it's garbage anyways. But there's companies that sell like a 3-pack of these. There's like a 12, yeah, it's like a 12, a 25, and I think like a 36. You really don't need autofocus, to be honest. Like I said, I've tried to use it. It doesn't work. You probably could get it to work if you put it on like a tripod, but I walk around my yard and look for stuff to photograph, and so I'm definitely not going to be putting this on a tripod and carrying around a tripod and a camera and everything. Recommend a flash. If you guys don't have a flash, Yongnuo makes some really good ones. I was actually pretty impressed by this. So it's got a like 360 degree swivel head. Also, if you get a slave, you can fire this remotely. So you just pop it on the little base, bam. You can set it up wherever you need to. It takes 4 AA batteries. It's really nice, especially because when you have it on your camera, depending on what focal length your camera is at, so like if it's at a 50 or if it's at like a 50 or a 200 mil, the blade or the light in here moves around. So depending on what your focal length is, it will adjust to that. Also comes with a bounce card and this little shield thingy up here. I'm not really 100% sure. I've never really used flashes before, so I'm still kind of like getting used to what power and stuff to use this at. But a very nice setup. I think this cost me like $115. You could probably get cheaper ones. I know Neewer sells some cheaper ones, like around like $40 to $60. So yeah, with the EF25 extension tube, the 18 to 55 kit lens with image stabilization on, shooting at around an we'll say an f6 to an f9. Fantastic setup. If you don't have the kit lens, or if you were thinking about getting rid of it, don't keep it. It's really a nice backup lens. The only thing that sucks, especially if you're shooting videos or something and you have autofocus on, you're gonna hear the noise from the motors inside of it. But for macro photography, or even for just like throwing it in a bag, having like an extra lens type of thing. So, I mean, you get 2 focal lengths out of this. You get a wide and then you get a telephoto. Highly recommend it. 75 to 300, especially if you want to get like some really crazy depth of field shots. Highly recommend using this. I use it probably, I would say 70% of the time that I don't have the 18 to 55 on there. So I'm Jordan. If you guys found this video useful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs up also. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. I'm Jordan. I'll catch you guys next time. Stay creative. Peace.